Nurses get stuck in this part because they don't know the number that it will take for them to be able to feel safe enough, regulated enough, relaxed enough to transition out of nursing into whatever it is that they want to try next. I just want to reframe the way that you are thinking about this. First of all, if you don't know me, if you're new here, my name is Mel. I'm a former registered nurse. I was able to get to a point where I felt safe enough financially to leave nursing, and I have a video on that if you want to check that out, by the way. And I do want to emphasize the importance of timing that feels good for you. So not timing that delays the inevitable, which is the fact that you really do want to leave nursing, but timing that allows you to save up enough and it allows you to transition from a place of feeling stable, financially safe instead of rushed. This journey is really all about being intentional and setting yourself up for success so that you're not looking back and struggling even more and like in the financial hole. You don't want to take that into your new chapter, into the next thing that you do. Now is the perfect time to really start getting honest with yourself about your finances. I know finances a lot of times is a taboo topic. A lot of times people have anxiety around finances or fear around finances because they just don't know their numbers. They don't know their safety number or their number that makes them feel not just comfortable, but that makes them feel like they are beyond comfortable. You want to create a cushion, like enough to pay your bills, enough to circulate on the things that you want, like outside of bills. That's super important. You want to be able to plan from a place of abundance. You don't want to be restricted. You don't want to start your new chapter with this scarcity, not enough, lack mindset. You don't want to do that. You don't want to just keep creating a cycle where you're living paycheck to paycheck if you are in that cycle. Society has taught us, has conditioned us into the paycheck to paycheck living, right? Working for a paycheck, exchanging our time for money, exchanging 12 hours. Some nurses work 12 hours like I did, which is crazy when you think about it because you're awake for like 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. So that's about 16 hours throughout the day. So when you think about it like that, and you think about the fact that we were trained to trade our time for money, hours to dollars, when I was going through my process and like healing and like coming out of nursing and trying different things outside of nursing that didn't require me to clock in, I realized that we've been like legit scammed. And I had this funny video I created. Maybe I could put it up on here that I created on Instagram last year about how I used to make $30 an hour when I first became a nurse, and I was so excited about that. But then I think about we're literally trained to trade our lives for money. So I was trading all this energy, all this exhaustion for 12 hours to make $30 an hour. And I'm not like, if that's what you are earning, I'm not shading you or anything like that. I'm just trying to open your mind to help you realize that the thing that we were trained is quote unquote stable. It's not stable at all, especially when we're only dependent on one source of income, right? Because then that makes you feel like you don't have options. It makes you feel like you need to stick with the one thing that it is that you're doing for your livelihood. And that's just not a fun place to be in because that's where the stuck feeling comes in. So relying on one source of income, it can feel stable at first until it doesn't. Okay. So that's when you start to feel financially trapped in the career that you're currently in, even though you want to leave. So you feeling financially trapped or financially stuck right now tells you so much data. It tells you everything you need to know. It tells you that you might want to start looking at some ways to bring in other sources of income so that you're not relying only on the one thing, so that that's not dictating your decisions and determining what you do next or how you move or when you get to move. Stability is not just a paycheck. It's so much more. But it also comes from how you feel, like how stable you feel within, how stable you feel mentally, how stable you feel emotionally. I could speak from past experience when I was in nursing, and I was like, at first I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I'm financially stable. I get a paycheck every 2 weeks. Like, I'm really doing it. But inside, I didn't feel stable. I didn't feel secure. And on the outside, I wasn't even really as stable as I could have been, if I'm being honest, because like nurses don't get paid nearly enough. They really don't, especially for all the things you're responsible for. So you really got to get honest with yourself and get to a place where you are able to separate the financial stability piece and the mental, physical, emotional stability piece and see if they line up. See like what each one is given. And the goal is to really get those things to be like balanced with each other. Because you don't want to have to sacrifice one for the other. You don't want to have to sacrifice your your internal sense of stability, your mental stability, physical, emotional stability in exchange for finances. And vice versa. You don't want to have to sacrifice your finances in exchange for your mental, physical, emotional stability. And I want you to hear me loud and clear. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, I know in nursing, we think that, they train us, they condition us, and I love to say program. So because your subconscious mind is always being programmed, whether you know it or not. So they program us to think that the harder you work, the more you should be compensated, or the longer the hours, the harder the shift, the more the duties, like the more that you're responsible for, the more you should be paid. And then when you go to like a least stressful nursing specialty, they pay you less. At least that's how it was when I was in nursing. So that makes us think that when you do less, or when you're not burning yourself out constantly, or when you're not like running around like a chicken with his head cut off, you deserve less. But that's BS. That's complete utter BS. If you take anything away from this video, is that you don't have to sacrifice your coins for your mental and physical health and your peace of mind. You just don't have to do it. And if you're somebody like me, if you don't want to, you don't have to exchange your physical time like directly for a paycheck. And that's why I love entrepreneurship, because there's so many different paths in entrepreneurship, not just online, but outline, but not just online, but like it outside of online too. For instance, I did Airbnb for some time. Like, it's just so many different things you can do that allows you to get your money up, that allows you to create extra sources of income in ways that are less pressure and in ways that won't burn you out. But that's what I got to say about that point. Um, so a lot of nurses, I know a lot of nurses want to pivot. I know you want to pivot out of nursing because you wouldn't have clicked on this video, but you feeling some financial uncertainty. So a lot of nurses let this keep them stuck because they can't really picture what their financial life could look like outside of nursing, because they've grown so used to like depending on the nursing income. And that's what happens, when you get a career and you're used to it coming in. You're used to that. And a lot of nurses feel like they don't want to have to make that financial sacrifice, as you absolutely shouldn't. You shouldn't. But the thing that happens is a lot of nurses, they allow themselves to stay in the career, they allow themselves to stay in the burnout, even though they're literally, their emotional, mental, physical, like, even though all of that is being sacrificed. There are different things you can do so that you don't have to make that financial sacrifice, that allow you to transition and pivot out of nursing like you really want to. Do what you need to do, sis. You got to build your financial cushion. You got to look into different streams of income. You have to really start getting honest with yourself about what you value the most and about what you're willing to do in order to make sure you're receiving the things that you actually value and living the type of lifestyle that you actually value. Right? So I do want to I do want to mention that there might be some financial adjustments that you need to pivot, like that you need to get used to for a certain amount of time, for a period of time, if you really do want to transition out of nursing. Not saying you have to do that, because there are all like there's so many ways to supplement income, to bring in new income and all that, that don't require you to sacrifice yourself, that don't require you to get burned out. But there might be some financial adjustments that you need to make. You really have to sit down, get honest with yourself, get clear about your finances, which you need to feel comfortable, which you need to feel more than comfortable. Remember, because we're not just trying to stay at comfortable. We want you to still be able to do certain things, but maybe for certain periods you might have to cut back on certain things. Um, it's just all about how much, like, it's about the trade-off and how bad you really want it in order to really set yourself up for that full, like, success, abundance, money just flowing in consistently in a way that honors what you truly value, what you truly want to do, who you truly are, that doesn't burn you out. So sometimes it is a trade-off for a period of time, temporary. It doesn't have to be, but there are also huge costs to staying where you are, like lack of energy, feeling stressed, feeling exhausted, feeling irritable, not being able to be present with your family, with yourself, with your kids, with your husband, poor sleep height, like not sleeping enough or what as well as you could, as well as you can, sacrificing different parts of your mental and your physical well-being, your peace, your joy, not having that vibrant energy that you truly desire. So those are some of the things that most nurses don't realize that they're sacrificing in exchange for that paycheck, in exchange for that quote unquote financial stability that they have from their nursing income. You might not have realized that you're already sacrificing something. How you want to feel every day, how you want to wake up feeling, how you want your mind to feel. So the question isn't whether you're willing to sacrifice something. It's about what you're willing to trade off temporarily, because it's not forever, but temporarily. So I want to remind you, you don't have to rush. You don't got to blow up your life. You don't have to force anything. And that's not what I teach. I don't teach you how to like rush out of nursing. I know you're burned out. Like, I know you're stressed. So that's why it's important to learn to regulate your nervous system while you're in this process, because you already know you want to leave. So it's best to start regulating your nervous system now, when it comes to money, when it comes to just general health and well-being and clearing your mind and things like that. And it gives you so much more clarity. So it gives you even more clarity to really sit and think about this and really process and really get clear, really get honest, really do what you need to do to get to where you want to get to. It's about really getting intentional with this pivot, with this transition, so that you're not stressed out, so that you don't like add extra stress to your plate, because that's not what this is. We don't want that. We want your transition to feel, not saying it won't be some stress, because it's different. Like, it's something different. It's something new that you're doing. It's something that's outside your comfort zone. But we want it to feel as least stressful as possible on you. Okay. So we want to move with intention. We want to move with clarity. We want to move with peace. We want to move with peace of mind. We want to move with knowing our numbers, knowing our finances. You want to move with all of that in place, so that your pivot, your transition becomes simpler for you, so that you can breathe a little easier. Okay. You can start getting honest with finances now. You can start building your cushion, your safety net, whatever you want to call it, and you can stop relying on this one source of income forever, because that alone keeps so many nurses trapped. And especially it's 2026, there's so many different ways to supplement income. Okay. Not saying try all the ways. That's not what I'm saying. My stomach is very loud. Yeah, so like now is the time to start taking, you can start taking steps that feel safe, that feel intentional, that feel aligned with where you want to go, with the type of lifestyle you want to live, with the type of finances you want to have. Okay? So this is what you do. Like this is the work, and this is what I help nurses with inside my Confidence to Quit Nursing Signature program, so that you can explore knowing what your finances are. You could explore and have a little cushion while you explore things outside of nursing. Sometimes, like, we need some guidance. We need the support, the community. So if that's something you feel like you need some guidance, some support with, definitely check out the Confidence to Quit Nursing Signature program. So that link is going to be down below. Just really have the hard conversations with yourself. Have the hard conversations with your husband or your family or with whoever it is that is involved in your finances, because the more you wait to get honest, the more you wait to have these conversations, the longer you'll be where you are, and we don't want that. Not rushing, but not staying where you are for longer than you have to. That's the motto. All right, I'll see you next time.